Welcome everybody to the Gecko Pod. This is episode 49. We are a podcast for the Gecko community where we talk about the hobby and the business of breeding geckos. My name is Harry at Zero's Geckos. AJ is AJD Reptiles. And we have three friends, Jesse and Zoe at Mesmerizing Morphs and Ashlee at Cresties. How are you guys doing?
Good.
Great.
How are you guys?
Everybody good?
We're good.
Land. I met you guys both in person at Florifauna. That was in May. It was good to meet you guys in person and make that connection. So I think it's pretty cool that, you know, like we meet a lot of people online, but once you meet somebody in person, it's different. You're like, yeah, you know, there's a better connection there. And so it builds more camaraderie and more of a personal relationship. And so it's good to have you guys on here, seeing you guys and hanging out with you guys.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you so much for inviting us.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Where are you guys located? Let everyone know where you guys are located and where are you based out of?
We're just north of Seattle, so Pacific.
Okay.
Oh, I'm in Atlanta, Georgia.
Atlanta,
So,
okay.
East Coast.
You're
Nice.
East Coast with
So
the
we
AJ.
got two West Coast, two East Coast.
Yep.
West Coast.
We got West Coast side, East Coast side.
We
I
do.
like it.
So as at the time of recording, it's like 12, almost 12:30 in the noon on the Westie for the Westies. You guys are in the afternoon, so
Yep.
Yep.
awesome. So yeah, we wanted to ask you guys just from the get-go, just out of the gate, what excites you guys most about kind of the current status of the hobby, and where are you guys at? Are you guys more sad about it? Are you guys more looking forward to it? What excites you currently about the hobby?
Well, I think like for us, all the new morphs coming out. Like I think I was talking to you a little bit earlier about Pixel, and there's the Cho-Cho whole topic, but so a lot of new things to work with and play with. I mean, I think if you're creative enough, there's no limits right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm also very excited about all the new morphs. I mean, it's an exciting time to be involved with crested geckos. Like, even though they've been around for a while, I still feel like it's very, very new.
Yeah. I mean, I think just like I was telling my wife the other day, I'm like, I remember when Lily Whites came out, it was like, oh my gosh, this is the first, like, I guess, really obvious morph that we saw pop. Obviously, there was other things that we just didn't know, like empty backs were already around. Obviously, like reds and harlequins and tricolors and all that stuff were around. But that was the first really like obvious, oh, this is different thing that came out. And I bred geckos for like, I don't know how long would that have been, almost maybe like 7 or 8 years before Lily Whites came out. And then since then, I swear we get a new one like every year. And I'm like, it's exciting for me just because even if we got one new one every like 3 years, I feel like it would sustain the hobby.
Yeah.
And the fact that we've gotten like, how many have we gotten? Like 5 in 3 years or something?
Yeah.
Like 5 in 3 years. And there's probably more that we just haven't even nailed down kind of what's going on, but it's crazy. I mean, it's a wild time for the hobby.
Yeah, it almost feels like it's exponential. It's like you get that one, the Lily White, and then it's like bam, 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 bam. It's like, whoa, what's this one? This is another one.
Yeah, and then you guys came in. I mean, so I'm alongside with you guys when we came in during kind of the COVID times, the last couple of years, and then by the time when we came in, like a bunch of stuff popped out. Like it just started to pop, right? And so when did you guys? What year did
you guys are spoiled?
I know.
I had the dry spell forever. Nothing.
What year did you guys come in?
So we came in last year around August. That was really 2022. I have had crested geckos since about 2014, I think is when I got my first one. Wanted to breed, looked into it. That was when we were still saying pinstripes were percents. So that was kind of the exciting thing back then. but yeah, I was in college, didn't have the time, money, or space to do it. So we just started last year officially.
Yeah, I started last year also, September of 2022. That's when I got my first crested gecko. I had reptiles when I was a kid, but never had any geckos. So I went to Reptilian Nation here in Atlanta, and I was just blown away. I'm like, what is this? I had never seen a crested gecko prior. Because I had been out of reptiles for so many years. And so I'm like, these are cool. These are really cool. And so I like impulse bought one. And then after that, I started doing all the research on them. And then I just nosedived in.
So what were the first things that you guys bought when you bought your first crested geckos? I guess back in 2014, Zoe, and then Ashlee, what did you buy first? And how does that differ now from what you have? Do you still have those animals, or kind of what is the difference between where you started and where you're at?
Yeah, I mean, my first crested gecko was a gecko off of Craigslist. I still have her. Her name's Godzilla. She's a flame. She's never been bred and never will be. But
flames are coming back. I don't know.
I sold my flame.
People ask me if she's a calf, and I'm like, even if she was, this poor girl is never being bred. Like, so things have definitely changed.
Yeah.
My first gecko purchase last year was actually a lily white.
Oh, nice.
Something sparked in me where I was like, maybe I want to breed again. And I wasn't around or, involved when lily whites came out. And then I saw the lily whites and I was like, that thing's cool. So I got a lily white as like my first reintroduction, and I still have him as well.
Oh, that's awesome. What about you,
Ashlee? The first one I bought a baby because I'm like, I don't know if I want to spend a whole lot of money on these guys. It was my first time with a crested gecko, first time buying. So I bought a little baby. He was like 4 grams, and he was like creamy and dark. So there was like a nice contrast. Turns out he's a Harlequin, but I didn't know that at the time. I didn't know what I was buying. I didn't know what all the different morphs were. I was trying to ask, like the different breeders that I'm like, well, what's this? What's that? And that's when I first heard about Xanthics, actually, because that's right after Brian Butler had made all that crazy money selling his Xanthics to those Koreans.
Yeah.
So I'm like blown away by that. I'm like, oh my goodness, what is an Xanthic? And but yeah, my very, very first one, his name's Lutzo, and I just posted him on Instagram what he looks like now. So he's I think 30 something grams now, but I got him at 4 grams.
Okay, that's awesome.
Yeah.
The Harry was Lily White the animal that caught your eye too? I know obviously you got your first crested gecko like locally.
Yeah, my first one was also a flame. It was a flame Dow, and then but after that, once I got into it, my first gecko, it was almost 2 years ago. My first one that I bought to breed, it was an extreme Harley. But then after that, I lucked into your stuff. I got a lily white as well, and a frost animal before it was named Frostline stuff. So the high coverage, high white stuff, that's what drew me in, plus the lily whites. Yes. So,
but we've heard the
black and white stuff.
Yeah. We've heard that a lot though, Harry, as far as like lily white, even during COVID, like lily white captured people.
Yes.
Just so funny because it had already been out for like 6+ years at that point.
Yeah. But at this time, you guys developed it so well that you have some crazy coverage stuff. So, I mean, I've made lily whites, plenty of lily whites now, and then it's not the coverage isn't super great. And then, but some of the stuff is nuts, right? And so to see things that are so covered with that kind of that mutes some of the pattern, I like that look where you could see it like covering it, but not fully.
Yeah.
I love that look. So,
yeah.
But yes, lily whites kind of drew a lot of people in, I think.
Yeah. And introduction of white spot trait into lily whites really kind of amplified them a lot.
Yes.
Because lily white, when it grabs onto white spot trait, it just like
explodes.
Yeah. So question for you guys. I'm just curious from your perspective, what you see in the market now, what your predictions are for kind of what is coming next and what's going to be popular next year, because that's what we're all kind of thinking about. At least me right now, as we're coming up to pairing animals, what is going to be the trend? And and the hot animal. I think we kind of have an idea of what people wanted this year, but what do you guys think next year is going to be kind of the it animal you can't, seem to keep in stock?
Oh, I feel like that's a tough one to always try to predict because it's always so like kind of changing.
Yeah.
I don't know, I could see sable lilies start popping up more. You're starting to see them like as babies hatchling grow out. So as those get up to like 15, 20 grams, you could like kind of see the progression. That could spark some interest again. I think phantoms are starting to come back a little bit from what we've been seeing. So like phantom lilies, your patternless phantoms. So we'll see kind of how those go too.
Yeah, I think people are really appreciating those, which is cool to see. I've always loved them, but now that they're starting to kind of gain some popularity, and I don't know if I've talked about it on the podcast, but I love phantom frappuccinos. Yeah. Those are like one of my favorite animals right now. So.
Yeah, the combos I think are going to continue to be popular for a very long time.
Yeah. What do you think,
Ashley?
I
definitely think the morph stacking is going to be really big. But those are all going to call. I still think Xanthics might still have a bit of a market in the next season.
Sure.
Just because whoever wasn't able to get them this season, as the price down, they will finally be able to get some. So I think Xanthics will still be pretty hot. I personally would like to have a sable, but the price is too high that I don't want it yet.
There's $800 sables.
Just buy one from Korea. That's what everybody else is doing.
They're not the best. They're not the best, but there's $800 ones.
Because they're not American made. I've actually thought about getting some from Korea, but I haven't done that yet.
What do you guys think about that? What do you think about? I know we asked about it. Yeah, we asked about it in Discord. I'm not against buying from Korea. I'll preface it with that. I think there's pros and cons to it, but I think there's definitely a movement where people are. It's almost like I don't know how to describe this, but like when
our team versus their team.
not even that. I remember when I don't know, in the 90s or early 2000s where it was like, oh, you bought this thing from China or you bought it from overseas, and it was kind of like looked down upon, but the rationale was always, well, it was so cheap. I bought this, it is so cheap. And now it's like everything we buy is from overseas. So I think, it's an interesting thing now where it's that conversation where it's like, what are the drawbacks of it? But I don't know. I mean, is that the way things are going to go? Where all new morph animals are going to just be bought in from Korea?
I don't know. They do have that new ghost packs morph.
We have it here too. Don't worry about it.
I know. It's similar to the Blizzard
or the Spider-Man.
Yeah. While you guys talk about that, let me pull that up. Keep talking.
So I'm buying from Korea. I've bought some from RCK.
Yeah, me too.
But like my frappuccinos from there, and then I bought just like a nice yellow C2 citrus phantom lily that I absolutely love. So I'm not against it.
Yeah. What do you guys think?
Timing impeccable.
It's the best.
Have you guys watched that video? Have you guys watched that video that they put out about that the ghost morph from Korea?
Yeah.
Did you watch that on YouTube?
Yeah,
I watched it.
It was interesting.
Yeah, it was interesting. I thought it was actually good. I was not expecting them to own up to the fact that they don't know if it's the same, and it very well might be the same thing. I'm like, I was expecting like, ours is totally different. We made it. It's totally separate. But I thought I'll give them kudos for, at least saying like, we don't know yet. We're figuring it out. you know.
I like that they're being
Time
very
will tell.
transparent.
Yeah, it's good.
Transparent about it. No pun intended on that one, but yeah.
It's a ghost.
They're being very translucent on it.
Yes.
Yeah. What do you guys think, Jesse and Zoe?
I think for us, like, it's not so much where, like, location wise it comes from, but like doing kind of the research on the breeders, making sure it's ethical and humanely bred, getting lineage, because I know, like, for us, we do extensive lineage tracking. So like that's kind of like a big selling point for us. Like if you're tracking a lineage, you're taking care of animals, you know, ethically, then, you know, it doesn't matter if it's Korea or US or Canada, like as long as you meet like our standards, like what we're looking for when we're buying animals, then we're totally fine with it.
Yeah. And that's a struggle. I mean, that's a struggle with buying geckos from Korea, I think, because I can just speak from myself. I sold a lot of geckos to Korea during their like buying bubble. And I can tell you they never asked me for lineage.
Yeah.
So
and I don't think they provide it either.
A lot of times they don't. They might give you like this gecko times this gecko, but they can't give you past. They can give you the picture of the parents maybe, but past that you're not going to get much. But I think it's just a cultural difference. Like to them, that's not, and it kind of makes sense to me. Like people don't do extensive lineage for leopard geckos very much, or for other, like, you know, if you're breeding like ball pythons or colubrids, most people can't give you great grandparents of a king snake that they produced, you know? So I think part of it is just cultural. But yeah, if that's important to you, I've thought about that. There's a lot of folks that lineage is so key to their buying decisions. And that's a piece you almost have to either like you have to forfeit that idea when buying from Korea, or you have to just not like buy from them.
Yeah.
So if that's like a hill that people want to die on, like it's kind of a closed door there.
Yeah.
And I've thought about that too. Like I'm kind of both a lineage person and not. I see the pros. Too. I see the pros to both sides. But
I do think there are some breeders in Korea that I've talked to that do keep, like, I don't need, like, you know, great grandparents back down the line.
Minimum for us is parents.
Yeah.
We just want to.
Yeah.
You
can see, like,
do you want like lines of the parents? So say like you're buying I don't know, pick a tricolor. You're buying a tricolor from Korea. And they show you two parents and they say, oh, this is, you know, whatever. This is Creepy Exotics line. This is Emily Burke line. Like, is that sufficient for you, or do you want like a step further?
I think for us that would be probably there.
It would be sufficient. Like line or parents.
Yeah.
Like, and we don't need extensive, but you know, everything that they have does come from here, right? So, you know, a lot of times you'll get lineage on like, it comes from Chase at Sengex, or it comes from Barb Creepy Exotics. Like there's certain lines that they did kind of keep tabs on.
Yeah.
And that's sufficient for us. Like we don't need
like
great grandparents or anything like
that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Then have you guys bought anything from Korea yet or no?
No, we've talked about it.
We
haven't pulled the trigger on anything.
Imported from
we imported from Europe.
Yeah,
but not Korea.
EU.
Okay. Yeah. There's there's some cool animals in Europe too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Do the European breeders, is their stock originating from US? Because US
a lot of it is.
Yeah.
A lot of it is. A lot of animals over there rooted back to Derek Dunlop's stuff.
Yeah, he sold to Europe.
He sold a lot. I remember at one point I was trying to diversify and buy some yellow pinstripes from Europe. And this was a long time ago, like 10 plus years ago. And they were telling me, they're like, oh yeah, these are whatever. They were telling me what they were. And I'm like, well, what's the line? And they're like, oh, it's Derek Dunlop's. And I'm like, well, I'm standing at the table with them at Tinley. I don't need to buy it from Europe. Like, I don't know. It's kind of disappointing because I was trying to buy outcrosses and then I kept like dead ending even over in like Czech. I'm talking to somebody in like Czech and they're telling me that the gecko is from the guy who I'm standing right next to. Like, oh my gosh, this gene pool is pretty small. So at least back then, when there was only so many people making each thing, it's like, oh, a red phantom. Oh, it's from Dragon's Den. Well, so were all the other ones. Like, you know, so that kind of was unfortunate.
Do you guys feel like as the hobby progresses and as more geckos come out and more breeders are there, do you feel like the lineage thing will eventually drop?
Maybe. I don't know if you'll have like extensive as much as like great grandparents or like going all the way back to the tree. I do think like people are still probably going to ask for that parent like pictures. I think that's kind of a place where it's going to be very hard for us to get out of if we ever do.
Yeah.
Just because like, two very different parents can produce an offspring that's, nothing like either of them, or it can be very similar to one of them. So I feel like the parents' photos questions, that'll still probably surface on any sale or buying. But
yeah, I feel the same. I feel like parent photos are probably going to continue to be kind of a standard question that people ask because of the genetics. Like you can look at the parents and figure out like if you're buying a baby, like, well, what will it possibly look like? It's just good to have the parent photos. And I also agree. I don't know that extensive lineage will be a thing or not, but for breeders that have extensive lineage, I think that'll just be a bonus for, players. Like, oh, they've got grandparents, great grandparents. Wow, look at all this, and it's just kind of a nice bonus piece to all.
Yeah. I'm almost 2 years in, about 2 years in. And just from when I started seeing things to now, like I do see a little bit of a shift, and maybe I don't know if it's a Korean influx of no lineage stuff, but I see it was a lot more extensive lineage when I started. And this is funny because it's not even that long of a time period. But from 2 years ago to now, some people don't ask for any parent or anything, right? And so I don't know if that trend will continue and how that's going to look. But from your perspective, so asking AJ, how does that look? And you've seen kind of patterns and rhythms of things more so. Do you feel like people always ask for parent pictures, or do you feel like it's getting more and more like other?
Not always. I feel like it's less and less. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
No,
that's interesting.
It's interesting. I don't know why. I think maybe I think I do know why. I think people care more about knowing what genes are present in the animal than what the lineage is. Because I think the mentality before was like, oh, I want to see what the great-great-grandparents are going to look like so that I can try to guess what the babies are going to be that are produced. Where now it's like, what genes does the animal have? So.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, and since we just said like a bunch of new morphs popped up during our time here, maybe more new breeders that come in just care about those the morphs and the genes.
Yeah, which is kind of how I guess the other markets work, right? They're more about the genes than the parents. But I'm kind of curious if David at Tiki's gets this gold standard club going, parents might continue to be important.
Yeah.
If there's like a registry of like that gecko or something, that's in the gold standard club.
Yeah. I forgot who we were talking to, but I think it's going to take a while to kind of get that rolling. Because he's the pioneer. He's the pioneer of it. Even like
I know
AJ and Gabby were talking about it before I heard it from Tiki's, and maybe AJ, you probably gave him the idea. I don't know.
No, I mean, I think that we definitely talked about it with him, but I think it was like something that was just coming. The idea of some kind of a standard for quality. I think it's just going to be tough because this hobby we're in is so, I don't know, people are so passionate and so like fiery about the animals that I think there's going to be a lot of pushback on it. But
I like the idea of it.
I think the idea is great. I just think that there's going to be, I think the thing that's going to make it difficult is people.
Yeah. It's like spearheading any new idea. Like you just have to keep going and get all the backlash, and then maybe 10 years later you can have like a solid program going. You know?
Yeah, I think
initially people are gonna get the hate. It's just like that.
I think if he keeps his head down and just like does it,
yeah.
I mean, he's just gonna have to like weed through a lot of people that are, you know, have opinions. Well, maybe not are mad, but like there's gonna be a lot of opinions, you know. So,
but that's the way it is with any kind of like standard, like the dog standard, horse standard, like with judging horses. Like I come from the horse world. Like it's really a lot of opinion, but it's also based on health, like the health of the animal. So maybe I don't know, maybe he could form like a committee that comes together that decides collectively on like the standard. It can't just be one person, you know, it needs to be a group of people.
Yes. So David, if you're watching this, which he does, keep going, man. Maybe in 10 years you'll get it.
Keep it up.
Down.
I don't think it'll take him. I don't think it'll take him 10 years.
5 years? But David watches all these episodes.
A few years.
Everybody go help David out at Tiki's. Oh, man. So when you guys came in, came in last year. What drew you back into the hobby? Was it kind of the influx of a lot of new breeders came in during the last couple years during the COVID times? Was it the influx of people? Was it the market? Was it all of the above?
Well, I think like Zoe actually started like I want to say a month and a half, 2 months before I got in, and
you know, he wasn't really into the geckos when I decided I wanted to breed.
Now you are, so that's all that matters. You're in now.
Yeah, I'm in it now. But I don't know what kind of drew you in.
Yeah, I just, like I said earlier, I saw Lily White and I was like, man, that thing is cool. Way back when I wanted to breed, wasn't really set up or ready for it, didn't have the time, space, or money. So when I saw the Lily White, I was like, you know, we're settled. Like I have more space, time, some funds to be able to really like do this right. And I just kind of decided I wanted to get involved. Started to get involved in the community, found a lot of really awesome people, very welcoming people, have made some really amazing friends, and was like, yeah, you know, I can be involved in this community. It's a great hobby. It's something that I love to do. It's something I've always loved animals. So I don't know that it was really one thing. I think it was just kind of a collective of different pieces that all kind of fell together for me.
Nice. Yeah. How about you, Ash?
I mean, just what drew me in initially, like to breeding after buying the first. Well, like I said, I bought the first last year, and then I think it was the next month I had already bought 3 more off of Morph Market. So for me, I'm an animal lover in general, so I've always liked animals. But I've always liked the idea of breeding animals. Like my horse is currently pregnant right now, which I'm very excited about.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, it's very exciting. My first time breeding a horse, so I'm curious to see how this goes, but hopefully good. So I like the idea of breeding just in general. And so when I saw these little guys and how many morphs there were and how easy it was to keep them, I'm like, this is something that I can create with. Like, this could be fun. This could be exciting. They could literally be in my closet and I could do this.
Which you're in your closet right now, right?
So yeah, that's what drew me in, all the different morphs. I do love lily whites as well. I have a few now, but the second morph that I bought was the Dalmatian, the Super Dalmatian. I think those are so cool. And so that was like my first idea of a breeding project were the Super Dalmatians. They just hit weight this past season, but they were both virgins, so they didn't really do anything. So I'm hoping next season will be better for them. But yeah, just the idea of being able to breed something and be creative. And like Zoe said, the community is amazing. That was an unexpected bonus, is everyone's so cool.
Yeah. So, I mean, jumping off of that, what you said, have you guys, this is you guys' first season, have you guys produced your own stuff already, right? Yeah. Some of your own stuff? Not yet?
Yeah, I think we did 2 pairings last year just to kind of get our feet wet.
Okay.
Funny enough is both my pairings, because so we'll have like separate projects going on in the house at the same time.
That's
so I got 2 pairings off the ground. So we kind of waited for this season to.
I got a lot of grow outs, so I'm waiting for my things to finish growing out.
Got it. Yeah. It's the long wait. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Ashlee, you as well, right? You have a lot of grow outs.
Yes, I have a lot of grow outs. I mostly got grow outs. And so, except for my, like the super Dalmatians that I mentioned. And then I have one soft scale that was of weight. And I ended up buying another adult soft scale. I did try that pairing, but she was a virgin. He wasn't. And I don't know if they actually did it or not. I kind of left them together for like a month. And I checked in on and watched them. There were no scars or fighting or anything that occurred. But she has laid 2 what appear to be fertile eggs since then, but they haven't hatched yet. And prior to that, she was laying a lot of Parthos that never made it. So I don't know. Are these Parthos? Are these fertilized? I have no idea. So I'm waiting.
Yeah.
Still.
Yep. I feel like that's pretty common for new breeders to grow out their stuff, start pairing stuff that is not proven yet. They're just virgins, and that's like
super disappointing.
You're like did they pair with that? What do I have to put a camera on these things?
We definitely experienced that this year as well.
Yeah. It's like, what is this? Like this half calcified egg? Like, what the heck is that?
Surprisingly, a lot of Parthos this year too. Like I had a lot of underweight geckos me Parthos, and I was like, I don't know what to do with this.
That's the first those first couple seasons. I think it's a lot of trial and error because you're not sure what's going on, and you're not sure if you messed up or whatever, right? And so it's a good learning curve, for everybody.
Yeah.
As new breeders, what has been the biggest lesson that you guys have learned so far? If you could, like, maybe 1 or 2 things.
Want me to take it?
Oh, yeah, you can.
For me, I would say stay focused. I definitely did what I think a lot of people do is they jump in and they're like, I wanted to do a lot of different things. And a couple months in, I was like, I'm not as excited about this project or that project. Like one of my very first project ideas was actually Super Dalmatian Lily Whites, which was really funny because he ended up picking up that project and I dropped it. So thankfully that worked out. But
yes, you got your scraps.
Yeah. So yeah, I would just say, really try to figure out what you're passionate about, what you're excited about, and stick with it. Talk to people about what your pairing goals are, what you want to produce, figure out what animals you need to get there. Because I definitely jumped in head first and was like, I kind of ended up with some stuff that doesn't really work for what I want to move towards.
Yeah, gotcha.
I did the same thing. And I feel like, is it a mistake though? I don't know that it was a mistake. I almost feel like it's a learning thing that we all as new breeders have to go through. Because for me personally, like I didn't know what morphs I wanted to work with because I wasn't familiar enough as a new breeder to know what they were. I mean, you can look at pictures, you can look at videos, but it's not the same as holding it in your hand. And like, especially seeing the babies develop and everything. So yeah, when I first started out, I bought a bunch of phantoms. I bought some C2s from a breeder that was selling the babies like as a package deal. And actually I've listed a lot of those phantoms on Morph Market, by the way.
Go check it out.
Yeah, check it out. But yeah, during the whole Morph Market madness sale. But out of those, I fell in love with the C2s. And I didn't know that I would until I had them. And now I'm like keeping pretty much all of the C2s because I'm like, these are really cool. And I'm learning that I'm really liking the yellows. I thought I really wanted to work with Super Dalmatians. I still do. But I don't love them as much as I love the yellows now. Like I spent a lot of money, but at the same time, I'm like, but I learned a lot, especially allowing them to go out. I definitely recommend buying babies because you don't spend as much money. You do have to wait longer, but you get to see them progress. You get to learn from that progression, and that's amazing. And you get to take care of them at all stages of their life. So,
yeah. I mean, I did similar things in terms of buying a lot of babies for hefty prices. So that was a mistake. But but seeing the progression, I feel like is not a mistake. I feel like that's something that everyone has to learn. But even this morning, somebody messaged me and asked me about this baby and this 10 grammer. How's it going to progress? Show me parent pictures. And then I think it's helpful to be able to develop an eye. I think earlier on in the episodes last year, I was talking to Brian, AJ, and Brian about how to develop an eye to look at babies to see how they'll progress, and it takes time. And so I feel like as we all progress, we'll get better at picking out babies. But in the beginning, you're just asking like, "Oh, look at the parent pictures. Okay, I'll buy it." But then you end up with a subpar animal.
I mean, I don't even like buying babies. Me personally, like
I'm starting to veer away from
like I like little like 3-4 gram geckos.
Yeah,
like I feel like for me, if I produce a bunch of animals out of the same pair, when you see one that is just, imagine like the normal look you're going for, but it's just that like amplified a bunch. It's like, okay, that's going to be a crazy animal, right?
Yeah.
Because you've raised a bunch of other ones from the same pair. And then you see that when you're like, oh crap, it came out with like 3 times more pattern than its siblings. That one's going to be crazy. But other than that, I mean, anyone who can tell you they can look at like a 2 gram gecko and be like, oh, I know what it's going to look like. They don't.
Nope.
They don't.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a certain level of like progression that just needs to take place before you can really know.
Yeah. So I say buying babies is a bit of a gamble, but I think it's not a bad thing. I feel like you will hit some things that are amazing at again, like you said, Ash, at lower prices. And so,
but if you can buy like that middle, like, and don't buy babies, don't buy adults. I mean, you can buy adults too, but I feel like the sweet spot is that like maybe like 8 to 12 grams. There is a point where it's like you can see what's starting to happen, and I feel like that's kind of the financially, that's kind of the sweet spot where you're not paying adult pricing. Like this gecko, it's going to be $3,000 as an adult. You can get it for $600 when it's 10 grams, you know? But if you have the eye to pick out at that size, but I don't think anyone has the eye for 3 grams.
And maybe not, but I just feel like getting babies like from 2 to 4 grams and just watching that progression from there. Like, even if I won't be able to tell by looking at another 2 gram baby, at least I get to see the whole life of it, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I think that's cool. I agree.
At least in the beginning, as a beginning breeder.
Absolutely.
I mean, once like at your stage, AJ, I mean, I can see why it doesn't make any sense at all whatsoever to buy babies. But
or if you do buy babies, I guess the thing that, like, if I was gonna buy a baby from someone, like if it would be like a breeder that I would trust, I would ask them, okay, this I really like this pairing. You've produced a season or 2 of these babies and raised them out. Like, which one would you pick? Is what I'll ask. Is like, which one would you pick to keep? And then I'll typically take that advice, and that hasn't led me too wrong, because they know their own animal's progression more than you when you're not your pairs. So if it's a trustworthy person, like I've done that with like Crestopia or with Gabby or whatever, where I'm like, hey, out of these 2 or 3 from the same pair I'm looking at, which one would you buy? And they'll normally kind of, oh, well, this one will end up more high pattern. This one will be more white. This one, you know, they'll kind of give you an idea. And I think I did that for you too, Harry, when you were looking at some stuff and just trying to kind of steer you a little bit. Kind of all depending on what you're looking for.
Yeah. I think like for me personally too, I know Zoe loves her grow out babies, but like buying under 10 grams for me, I'm like kind of iffy on it. Like most of my buys have been like 10 to 20 grams if they haven't been, you know, adults. The occasional adult buy.
Basically, you know what you're getting.
I don't like to gamble as much.
But I'm kind of in kind of learning from how everyone does things, and I agree that you can get a sure bet as it gets older, more of a sure bet. But the younger ones, you're not going to get some of the nice stuff that other people, they wouldn't sell you that stuff, right? I've probably hit like 2 or 3 things growing out babies that they otherwise wouldn't have sold to me. And so it's worth it, I guess. If you get something, if you get skunked though, oh my gosh, like
Yeah.
I've also taken the route of, if I really like a pairing, then, and I see one, I'm like, hey, do you have any siblings? And I'll get like 2 siblings. That way, if one goes male, but I wanted a female or vice versa, then like you kind of double up your odds a little bit to kind of get what you want.
Yeah.
So I've definitely done that approach too, because I have definitely gotten a couple grow outs that were small and they all kind of go male on me, or I have very bad luck with that. And it's like, okay, well.
Yeah, no pores.
no pores seen, no promises.
Oh my gosh, I got so
Yeah.
no pores. I think we all have, right? We all bought no pores. Not pores.
Last time I looped it, it was 2 grams, but I didn't see any pores. It's 8 grams now. I haven't looped it in 3 months. It's so bad.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
That's something I want to talk about, Harry, on our next lives. I want to talk about that.
Thursday.
I'm hearing too many people getting stung by bad terms of service and stuff. So we'll talk about it.
Yeah. I was about to go into the unsexed selling it. This thing is 8 grams unsexed, dude. It has clear pores. Come on.
The thing's got a bulge. 15 grams.
15 grams. It has a bulge. It's unsexed. Come on now. I didn't look at it. I swear I didn't sex it. Killing me. Oh my gosh. So as new breeders, all right, for us, now that we've had a season or so in, what are some? So let me preface it by saying this. When I got in, I was pretty naive and I just jumped in. I'm like, oh, everything is harmless. Like, just get whatever, keep things objective. But then, the more longer it goes on, the more I see kind of bad practices of certain breeders and things that could be better. And it's maybe not intentional, but from your perspective, from you guys as new breeders, what has been, I don't know, like a pet peeve or kind of difficult to deal with when it comes to people selling their animals? Like, what have you come across that has been difficult from buying?
I'll go first.
Yes.
Communication. Like when I message someone on Morph Market and then I don't hear back, or like I'll hear back and then like there will be like, I don't know, 7 hours before they respond again, or like a whole day, or just no response at all. It's very frustrating. That's definitely my pet peeve of purchasing animals from breeders. Or if I ask questions and they don't actually answer the question I ask, but they tell me something else, and I'm like, and my question?
Yeah.
So I don't know. That's just a pet peeve of mine.
Yeah,
it doesn't have anything to do with care, but
I completely agree. I think I've definitely run into some people that are difficult to communicate with, whether it's intentional or not. But as a buyer, I want my questions answered. If I have some questions, like I don't want to be chasing you down or having to, repeat my question to try to get the answer that I'm looking for. I'm trying to be intentional about what I buy, and that's why I ask the questions that I ask. So I would definitely say, agree. Pet peeve of mine is communication as well.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I can just speak from, I guess, some of the challenges I have, because I sometimes struggle with communication and people make fun of me for it. Normally not with sales stuff. I try to be, if I get like I do get a lot of like questions throughout the week, and I try to be good about answering them. But like I said to you guys before the episode start, like care is number one. And then like selling animals and keeping the ball rolling is number 2. And then like social media and questions and emails and all that stuff, I feel like a lot of times maybe falls lower than it should. And I think that's probably the plague of a lot of breeders. I'm probably not alone in that. But how can I'm just, speaking from a personal point, how can I and we maybe prioritize that higher on the list? Maybe we have to hire people more hours to help us with care or whatever we have to do to be more present for customers. I think is good things to think about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I
the
mean,
longer-
I've definitely I really enjoy going to shows and answering questions and things like that. But I totally see your point, AJ, that people are busy. I mean, we both work full-time jobs. We're two people, so that definitely helps. But something that I had experience with somebody else that I actually appreciated was, they just said, "Hey, I'm really busy this week. I see your message. I will get back to you this weekend."
Yeah.
Yep.
And like just say like, "Hey, I see you. I understand that you have some questions. I'm happy to answer them. Just give me until X time point," and then following up.
Yeah.
I think that really spoke to me as a, "Hey, I'm not ignoring you.
Yeah.
I need to answer your questions.
Yeah.
I just need a little bit of extra time to get there."
Yeah. I think that's good. I'll also tell people, I'm like, "Hey, I want to follow up with you on Monday. If you don't hear from me by noon, like just give me another message." And because it's kind of a curse that we use Instagram where you don't have as many tools to do like follow up versus like if you did it all via email and you could have all of these folders and follow ups and everything. We just have like unread or not basically.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my gosh, I wish everything wasn't centered around IG, but it is. So we have to find ways to make it work.
Yeah. Also, I realized that we sometimes, as a new breeder, you expected people to be like a proper business, but it's not the case, right? Because you have some that are legit businesses and some that are just hobby breeders on the weekend that are selling or not really checking their messages. And so I try to keep that in mind when messaging people. And I realized that there's a good amount of people that
majority are small.
A majority of people are kind of hobby folks. And not to say that that's like a straight excuse, but you realize that a lot of people aren't doing this full time. Most people aren't, right?
And, I try to keep that in mind too, but it's still a pet peeve.
Yeah, I agree. Actually, I'm 100% in agreement with you.
I mean, it's not, I'm not going to like write someone off because of it, but it is like, okay, I messaged her like 24 hours ago. Like, I don't know. It's just a pet
You know what I do? I just move on.
Left unread.
I will too. I will move on.
People ghost Harry. He just goes, "Okay, I'm never going to buy from that person ever."
Yeah. Kind of feel that way too. I'm like, all right, I'm writing that one off.
Maybe I'm getting saltier because I was like, oh no, I was just busy. I'll message them next week. And then now I have no time. I'm just like, man, I can find 3 other people with kind of similar things and I'll just go to them,
And I'm also speaking from experience as someone that hasn't done a lot of selling yet. I mean, I've sold some, but I haven't had an onslaught of questions or inquiries or anything yet. So I don't know what it's like to be you, AJ. Not yet. So maybe once I see that side of it, I can.
Yeah, it can be tough some days.
Yeah.
AJ, I'm like trying to feed geckos and I'll have like 30 unread DMs. I'm like, oh my gosh, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do these?
The fact that you're not saltier is amazing to me. So
yeah, I try. Everyone be patient with me. I try. I'm a one-man show.
Yeah, no, that is
Harry. What about you? What's your pet peeve?
Biggest pet peeve for me is just I think, and maybe I'm again like beating a dead horse, but kind of misrepresentation of certain things. I think honesty. So I try not to see things as people intentionally doing things, but I think inaccurate descriptions is what kills a lot of new breeders, right? Because people are spending what $500, $1,000 sometimes, maybe more, on animals that they have dreams and hopes of like crafting into their future business, and you get something and you're like, oh, right? So I think it's, and we can't get
just kind of like.
I can't tell you how many new breeders have been disappointed by kind of their stuff.
I've been hearing it all the time recently.
Yeah. And so I
think two things is not sexing animals, right? And misrepresentation in photos. Those are the number 1 and number 2 issues I hear.
Yeah. So it's not 100% on the breeders that are selling as well, I think a lot of new breeders need to understand kind of how things work. The more they understand it, the more they realize it's hard to get a perfectly accurate picture. And then some breeders that are selling, they just don't know their animals. Like they'll say something like, "This is a phantom." It's clearly not a phantom. This is a tricolor, not a tricolor, right? So it
I
confuses.
just don't buy from them.
Yeah. Yes, that's
I'm like,
the
you
thing-
don't know.
The thing that stinks though is when you're new, you don't know
You
either.
don't know. Yes.
Yeah, that's true.
You don't know.
And then you get it in, and then you're like, you know, you go to your favorite Facebook page and post, check out my new red phantom I bought. And somebody's like, that's not even a freaking phantom. Like, do you not know what you're talking about? And you're like, well, the person I bought it from said it was a phantom. And
Yeah,
it just continues down the line. And
Yeah.
So there's so many variables that go on, and so people are like, "Oh, this is a frap." I'm like, "I don't know, that's a frap, bro."
That's a little
and
light.
I said,
That's not a
"AJ, is it
frap.
frap?" Like, I don't.
Well, that
That's
just
bad.
goes back
We're gonna
to
see that. We're gonna see that a lot right now.
Yeah.
Fast forward 6 months, we're gonna see a lot of geckos sold as fraps, and we're gonna see stuff sold as fraps. It's not.
I imagine that there are sables being sold that aren't sables.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Korea.
Yeah.
I think that's tough. And
Even the
part of
really
it is-
high-end caps, like as babies, I'm having a hard time seeing. Like you can kind of tell with the lower end stuff, but like as they get more pattern and they start getting that tricolor look when they're little, I'm like, that's a cap? Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's hard. Yeah. So anyway, yes, we'll talk about that. But I think yes, the accurate representation is important. And I'm not saying some sellers are intentionally doing that, but I do feel like some people aren't well versed in what things are, which makes it difficult. And so hopefully podcasts and other things and then Foundation Genetics, hopefully people like watch and read and learn so that they're not just selling things, and new breeders are buying into stuff, and then it perpetuates kind of the ignorance of what we're doing here. And so I think education is helpful.
Yeah, what I was going to say is it also goes back to the buyer. The buyer needs to educate themselves as much as possible. Like after I bought my first one, I dove in more so into like looking into all the different morphs, information, learning as much as I could. So I knew what it was that I was looking at. And I think that's something that every new breeder needs to do, is to be well informed themselves before. I guess that's probably advice that I would give to new breeders, is before they go out and buy other ones, learn as much as you can about crested geckos, about their care, about the different morphs and what they look like, and there's a lot out there, but there's also a ton of information out there.
Yeah, it takes time. I think I think I shared this earlier. The one of the hardest things as a new breeder is just learning the different morphs, genetics, how things pair, and what comes out of what. And then if you don't know, you don't know what you're getting.
Yeah.
So, no, that's interesting. But so for you guys, I can be an impatient guy, and so when I jumped in, I was impatient. Like you, Zoe and Jesse, I just bought a bunch of stuff. You too, Ashlee, right? Bought a bunch of stuff, not knowing exactly what everything was, but from you guys' approach to breeding, are you guys more of the take your time, enjoy, no rush, or are you on the faster track? You want to buy everything so that you can expedite your projects quicker? Where do you guys land within that spectrum?
Well, I think again, we're kind of different. So Zoe will have her method and I'll have mine. I think for me, when I'm looking into a project, I know if I'm starting a project, I have to have at least 4 geckos for that project. Just so I can hold back my offspring from each side of the project and then pair my best pairs going forward out of those two. Instead of trying to buy what's on the market 2 years later to push into my lines or to my goals, I already can make it myself on the other side of my line. So I don't know if it's necessarily fast track, but I do when I am looking to enter a project, I am looking for at least 2 separate sides of it to try to come down.
I agree with that as well. It's nice to be able to just work within your own collection instead of having to bring in new blood. But yeah, I'm not on a fast track. I am slow. So
Slow go, enjoy your projects, take your time, right?
yep, taking my time.
Yeah, I'm kind of on the.
Harry's the speed demon.
I was like, oh my gosh. Yeah, which is interesting for as a new breeder, right? Maybe another tip for new breeders is like know what you want to do, know what your goals are, because that will dictate how much money you spend, how many things you're gonna buy, and if you're just gonna slow roll it and enjoy it, I mean that's.
I will
cool.
say, Harry, you spent money, but you didn't buy adults.
I didn't. I only bought a few, but last year when I started, I bought mostly babies like Ashlee.
Yeah, that's good. I think that would have been. I think if you would have bought all adults, you would have been worse off for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because like the quality, even if like say you spent $1,000 on juvenile or $1,000 on adult, even in the high market, like $1,000 adult would have been very underwhelming. You know, like you ended up with a much nicer collection with some time under those animals to grow.
Right. Yeah. I would say maybe 20. This sounds like a low number. I would say maybe 15 to 20% of the stuff I grew out is breedable. The other stuff,
breedable size wise or quality wise?
Meaning like for my projects, for what I want. Like there's good stuff. It's just for what I want. It didn't turn out how I thought it was going to turn out. So there's a lot of disappointment to be had, but there's also some good stuff that comes out of it, right? So
it's so interesting. I think we'll all realize this too, is like that where you'll really catch the passion is when you start making your own holdbacks. Because like sometimes it's really hard to buy the thing that you imagine, but when you can see an offspring come out that's a step closer and you hold it back, it's like, okay, I'm getting really excited. And like, I know what to look for as far as the babies that come out, kind of how they start to progress. And it's just, then you'll catch like a second bug when that starts happening.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't wait to watch, just to even see a baby hatch. Like I can't wait to see that.
I don't think it'll ever get old.
It's the best. It's like the vending machine. You put like, oh, I got the yellow one. Yeah.
You don't know what you're gonna get.
Glitter.
Especially once there's like multiple genes in play. You're like, oh my gosh, I hit the like animal I was going for. The one in 20, you know.
Yeah.
Feeling. Is it like opening a pack of cards? You're like, you get the limited edition thing.
It's gonna get even crazier. Like give it 3-4 years and we're gonna be like producing animals that are like a 1 in 128 odds.
It's like 6 more stacked or something.
It'll be crazy.
I mean, it'll be like ball python world, right? With the
it's
a dozen stacked,
it's like, oh, you might hit this in the next 10 seasons out of the same pair. Like you might hit one.
That'd be crazy.
That will be exciting.
So
can't wait to work with my higher. Go ahead.
I was gonna say when people do hit those, it'll like be like business changing, right? When you hit those like really extreme examples, and
we'll get there.
It'll be cool. It'll be cool.
I personally can't wait to work with my like higher end ones that I'm growing out, my xanthics, the frappuccino. I can't wait, but gotta wait.
A long wait. Yeah.
So speaking of morphs, you brought up the frap and the xanthics. What do you guys think about the current morphs? The sables, the pixels, the caps, the fraps, the xanthics, the ghost packs, genetic hypo, pinky, Spider-Man triangle. What do you guys think of all that stuff? Are you fans of it? Is it something that will be like very integral to what you're doing or not?
I think Ashlee's got more morphs in her collection, so I'll let her go first.
Oh, okay. I'm excited about every single morph that comes out, even the boost / pack / pinky, whatever you want to call it, blizzard. I don't know that I'll ever work with that particular one, but I find it intriguing. I come from a biology degree, so anything like different, unusual in genetics, I think is cool. But yeah, like I said, I'm excited about my xanthics and everything else. I don't have any pixels. I know Harry has some pixels. I'm intrigued by them, but I'm not sure that I'm ready to work with them yet. But I think they are really cool. Houston Gecko recently posted one that I really, really liked on their Instagram. But yeah, and I like the sables. But like I said earlier, I don't have the money to get one right now. So
they're cheap. It's Korea. It's like the price. It's like the price of getting a Chipotle burrito at this point.
Korea got you, Ashlee. Don't worry.
I may get one from Korea. I might do that. We'll see.
We need a group buy going. We'll
I
gotta
know,
save
right?
on shipping.
We'll get 13 for the price of one.
Yeah, I'm friends with another breeder here that lives just 45 minutes from me, and we went in together on a commit from RCK back when I got my Frappuccino. So, and I love that Little Monsters is handling all the importing and everything. That's awesome.
Nice. That's nice. Yeah. Oh man, there's so many new things coming out. I can't
wait to see the next new thing.
And what's it gonna be? I don't know.
I feel like like you said earlier, AJ, we're spoiled because we're coming in at this time where it's just morph after morph after morph. To me, this is the way it is. I'm expecting the next one to come out next month, but I'm sure there's going to be a point where it goes down.
Try 8 or 9 years with 0.
AJ was ready to hang it up. He's like, what is this?
It was just back then, it was just my reds are a little bit nicer than these reds. That was basically all we were doing was.
Man, that's rough. Yeah.
We're
super spoiled.
Oh, you have a 95% pinstripe. I have a 98% pinstripe.
Yeah, I mean, I think the new morphs are awesome. We have some xanthics. We have an xanthic project that we're starting up.
Nice.
Very long-term project. It's going to be a high weight project. We're actually collaborating with another breeder on that one, so we're pretty excited for that. We don't have any of the other morphs yet. I really like sables. I'm kind of a wait and see kind of gal. I'd rather wait for other people to kind of work on it, and then I'll jump.
You have lily whites.
I do have lily whites, finally.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I know he really likes Pixel, so might be another one, but I wouldn't say it's integral to our business, but it's definitely something that we're interested in and we want to work with them, but we don't want to be first on that train at all.
Yeah, I think we kind of want to like the same we did with Xanthic when we got them. We kind of waited a little while, saw how they kind of the market kept progressing, and then finally we're okay, well this is the time for us to get in. I think we'll do that the same with Pixel. I was ready to go in at the same time Harry did, but I guess Zoe talked me down off the ledge a little bit. We want to see if they can be consistently produced before I kind of get into that.
Yeah, it's interesting about the morphs, the new morphs, and when is a good entry point, because it's a
hard thing to say.
Yes, a lot of it is gamble. Sometimes you get in the beginning and it kind of flops, and you're paying the price, right? And so yeah, I tend to be a little bit more aggressive with certain things and getting excited about stuff, but it doesn't always pay out, right? And so it's interesting about all the things that we're trying to get in. But you guys both got into Xanthics. I know, Ashlee, you have your Xanthic. Was your first one at Flora Fauna? I think I saw it.
From Ruby Reptiles.
Yeah, from Jordan. Yeah, that was a cool one.
Yeah, he's on my Instagram. I recently posted.
Oh, yeah. Yes. I'm going to pull up both of you guys' Instagram soon and talk about the things you're focusing on, because Zoe talked about her high white focus. But let's pull up yours, Ash, and look at yours.
But yeah, I'm kind of like Zoe. I like to wait. I don't want to jump run. I also like to see how the genes pass down first, if it's dominant, codominant, if it's recessive. I like for other people to kind of figure that out, because I don't have the funds to figure that out. So yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah.
And I like to see kind of what people are doing with it and what's kind of possible with it. I think in a lot of ways, a lot of this stuff, there's unlimited opportunity to do what you want, but I like to kind of go in with a little bit of knowledge of, oh, well, when you stack this with Phantom or with Lily or, you know, something, it's like, okay, well, that's kind of the phenotype you're getting out. Then it gives me a clearer idea of the goals that I want to pursue with that particular morph or gene.
Yep.
Just so that I can have a clear goal in mind. I'm a very goal-driven person, so I want to have a clear direction before I go and spend, you know.
I like goals too. I figure it out as we go, you know.
Harry likes goals. He just likes very fast goals.
We're gonna build a plane as we fly it. It's all good.
Yeah.
That's how the podcast came about, by the way.
But we always, Harry, we've talked about this before, though. I mean, there's the approach of, do you want to spend more but go faster, or do you want to spend less and go slower? You know, and some people are one type, some are the other. There's nothing wrong with either approach. It's just one is more expensive.
Yes. Yeah. One is means for sure, and not a lot of people have that, and it's not a knock on them at all. I think.
No, I mean, I didn't do that. I did the super slow grind.
Yeah, you did a slow grind. You're way ahead of all of us in terms of grinding it out. And so no, I think it's awesome that everybody kind of comes in with different kind of a different mindset, and you can get it done. It's just a matter of how, and being creative with how to do that, right? So
and how patient you are.
Yeah, that's a tough part. I do feel like most of us are impatient, and so we jump in not educating ourselves properly, and you know, mistakes compound, right? And so all right, so I'm gonna pull you guys' Instagram up. Can you guys tell us about kind of your projects that you're focusing on, the things that you're most excited for moving forward, and what does the future look like for Mesmerizing Morphs and Crypto Cresties? What are the projects you guys are doing? Ashlee, why don't you go?
Am I going first?
Oh, sure. Yeah, sure. I'll pull you
okay.
He's gonna pull your IG.
Yeah.
I'll wait for that. So that one at the top there, that's AVAX. He's a soft scale. So I am planning on pairing him with another soft scale again next season, and hopefully producing some more soft scales. And then other than that, Bitcoin, which is my visual exanthic there, he's not going to be big enough to breed yet. Okay. He's growing like a weed, but he's still not going to be of weight by next season. So he's going to be a 20. Yeah, I'm thinking a 2025 pairing will be fine. Okay. So I am excited about them in 2025. I've got a bunch of head exanthics that I actually got from... but not from Korea. They came from Canada, but they were from a Korean breeder. And I went in with another breeder for the shipment. So we got a whole bunch of, well, not a whole bunch, but we got like 10 to 12 of them.
Cool.
And I say 10 to 12. I guess we got 12 of them, but I'm only keeping 5. Anyway, doesn't matter. So those I can't wait to pair, but they're growing out as well. And they're all smaller than Bitcoin is. But once they hit weight, then I'll be ready to pair him with them. But
are those all visual animals or some hets?
No, those are all 100% hets. I have one female Lily 100% het. I have 2 male Lily 100% hets. And then I've got another female just regular. And then, that's one's for sale right there. That actually is the other breeder that went in with me. That's his, and so I'm selling it for him because it's actually in my care. But yeah, that's one of the 100% hets that's going out. That's a male. Nice. And then there's another one that looks just like that. That's his sibling, and that one's for sale too. Cool. But so next season, I'm really excited about the soft scale, and I'm also excited about my super dowels, which that's AVAX again. I do accept Bitcoin for payment.
Yeah.
That's what that post is about.
And then, that's how you came up with your name, right?
Crypto Cresties, because I like cryptocurrencies.
Did you kill it with the crypto during that the huge spike?
The last spike, not the more recent one, but the last bull run, I did I made a nice profit, not as much as some other people. I'm not a Bitcoin millionaire by any means. I wish I were. But yeah, that yellow one right there with like 8 dorsal. Yeah,
Where?
yeah, no, up. Yeah, that one. But yeah, if you go over
On the
next,
right-hand side.
yes, there,
Yeah.
that one. That one's like one of my favorites.
Yeah, that's pretty.
I'm really liking the C2s, the yellows. So she's going to be a breeding weight next season. She is. I'm excited, but I don't know that she will be. But yeah, like I can't wait to pair her. But yeah, next season's going to be my soft scales and then my super dowels.
Okay. Nice.
Yep.
How many pairs do you think you'll have next year?
So I'm thinking Avax will be paired with Strudel again. So that's one. Pokedex, which is my super down male, he'll be paired with 2 females. So I guess 3. I'm looking at 3. If my red dow's ready, I might breed them, but I don't know that they're going to hit weight. I do have a red dow pair.
Nice.
So
yeah, it's nice. You'll get your feet wet, get to see a bunch of hatchlings.
Yeah. And hopefully not be totally overwhelmed either.
Yeah. That's a nice place to start. I think if you just have one pair, I'd be like, oh man, I hope they, with one pair you can kind of get skunked, but I think with a few you'll be good.
Oh, as you just went over my lily white though, I forgot. I do have the lily white that I'm wanting to pair with my possible cappuccino.
Right here.
I don't know where she went. No, not that one. That's the head xanthic. That one won't be old enough. Go up a little bit. No, there she is. She's shedding. A video of her in shed. Up.
Did I miss it?
I think we missed it. It's okay.
Hold on, we're gonna find it.
Your determined. It was on the right hand side. It's a video on the right hand side of a lily white in shed.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
I don't know where it's at.
Oh,
you just passed it.
Sorry.
Yeah. Okay, so she's from Altitude Exotics. She's my lavender lily, and I'm wanting to breed her with my possible cappuccino and see if I make any fraps, but we'll see.
Nice.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Very cool. Very cool. Yeah. Are you looking to expand? Are you looking to get more breeders, as in like purchase more into your collection, or are you just looking to grow out what you currently have and go
just grow out what I currently have?
Okay.
Cool. I say that now, but
yeah, I said that too before. Yeah.
I also said yesterday I wasn't going to buy another gecko, and then I changed it, and then I changed my mind again, and then I ended up buying one. So who knows?
That's how it always goes.
Yeah,
that's what I do.
Yeah.
Very cool.
There's a better video of villas. Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. Are all your in terms of like looking behind you, do you have everything in Exoterras, or are those from Amazon, or what is your main, how do you house your animals?
Do you want me to go first?
Oh yeah. For you, Ash.
Okay. So these are just, your regular 6-quart shoebox ends on a rack system. And then above that, everything else is either from Amazon. Got these shoe boxes from Costco. So these are from Amazon. I posted them on Instagram, and everybody wanted to know where I got them, and then they all sold out. So now they actually don't make these anymore, and these are the ones you can get now. So these are a little bigger, but I like these better. I use these for my juveniles, and I hate that I can't get any more of them, but I just can fit more on a rack, and it's a good size for a juvenile. Actually, I do have the so these are 11 by 9 by 14 and a half, and then bigger ones are, 13 by 9 by 16 tall. So
okay.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Oh, here he's gone.
Oh no! Where we?
You guys can hear me, right?
Yeah. All right, hold on.
We can hear you. What are you doing back there?
Harry's got a rainbow screen right now.
Keep talking. The camera all of a sudden said, "Oh, internal temp's too hot. Let's cool in." So, anyways, keep talking.
no.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
But
I'm gonna
yeah,
try to
for my adults, the adults, unfortunately, I have a lot of them in bins. I say unfortunately because I just don't like the way bins look, but they work. And then I do have some and a couple bioactive. I actually convert everybody to bioactive, not the babies, but like the juveniles and the adults. So that is a work in progress and more money and time, but I'm working on it.
Yeah, that's tough.
I just like that bioactives don't need a whole lot of cleaning, and cleaning takes a lot of time.
Yeah, digging through bioactives for eggs takes a lot of time too.
Well, yeah. See, that's the thing. I don't have any females in bioactives. I have my males in the bioactives, but I'm trying to figure out a way to have a female in a bioactive without having to dig through the whole enclosure. Maybe putting down something.
Yeah, have you seen what Bertopia does?
Mm-mm.
If you go on Bertopia Gecko's IG, she uses this like I don't even know what technically the product is. It's basically like this like grid pattern of plastic.
Yeah.
It's not like egg crate. It's like super thin, and it's like this, just like tiny squares of plastic. She cuts a square of it, drops it in, and then the bugs, there's still dirt and whatever and bugs underneath it, so they can still eat waste. But then she gives them a lay box and they can't get to the dirt. So
that's what I was thinking about doing, actually, is something like that. I have what is it called? Like a gutter protection, like out of plastic, that I was thinking I could lay down. It's like the squares. I use it for, I don't know if you can tell in here, but they're like, it's like just this right here, if you can see it. It's what they put over gutters to guard them from the leaves, but it's just a plastic. And I use that for them to like rest on top of, and then it's just held in place by magnets. But I was thinking that would be perfect to lay on the dirt so that they wouldn't lay like in the whole enclosure.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. Jesse and Zoe, what do you guys do for your cages before we pull your IG up?
So for adult males right now, we're 12, 18s, in glass, Exoterras. We do pretty much everything semi-bio at least. Breeder females, we do 18, 24s. And then we actually, for our egg layers, those plastic squares you were talking about, AJ, that's exactly, we use them as a false bottom. We still put dirt on top. That way the bugs can clean underneath that false bottom.
Mm-hmm.
So how thin do you put the dirt? Thin enough they don't lay eggs?
No, because we'll still dig it. We just, I don't know, it's probably 1.5 inches or so.
Okay, just not super thick.
Yeah, not super thick.
Have you ever,
go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, I don't know if you guys have heard me talk about this before. I do this in like lychee cages and stuff that have dirt in. You can keep most of the cage thin and then just create like a deep spot in one corner. Basically like a containerless lay box. And they'll pretty much, I mean, all my lychees and gargs and stuff will utilize that. You just like, everything is this thick, and then you have one spot that's 4 inches. And it's like a square that's like 4 inches.
Yeah, we tried that for his garg enclosure. I had heard that they like to lay in deeper substrate, so I tried the back corner. A lot of our females actually lay right in the front, and I think that's because when we spray, it's staying more wet. So a lot of the girls lay right in the front of the enclosure. Next season, so I like to add a lot of bark and Reptichip and things like that into the soil, because our humidity here is really, really high. So I don't like having a ton of stuff in it that keeps it really humid. So next season, I think I want to kind of keep my typical substrate and then offer them a lay box that's pretty much just eco earth or something softer, and see if they'll preferentially choose the softer material rather than the kind of more like barky material. But that's an experiment for next season.
Yeah, that's interesting. You might see success with that. I don't know. Some animals are so... You might have 50% of the female. Yeah, you might have 50% of them follow your plan, and the others are just like, I'm going to lay it under this water bowl with this chunky pieces of bark. So
We had one girl inside of a cork tube, and I was like, "You're not a Chihuahua."
Goodness.
She wants to be, but
Yeah.
it's so funny. Harry, you want to pull up?
Yeah. Tell us about your high. This is something I'm excited about too, because it's my main project. The high white, high coverage, because that's what AJ stuff is. What first drew me into that project, and then you guys are working on that stuff too. I saw you guys pick up that when I first met you, that
From
Terralee.
Flora Fauna, right?
Yeah, Flora Fauna, the Terralee animal. That I was like, oh, dude, it's crazy.
Yeah, that's him right there on the top corner. That's Hailstorm. He is definitely the main cornerstone for that project right now. Jesse and I kind of have separate projects. So I'm the high coverage, high white, as well as yellow pattern tricolors are kind of my main focus and what I'm most passionate about.
That's awesome.
So he's awesome. He's got a couple girls lined up for him next season. I'm really excited to see what he produces. And then on the other page, if you go to the front page there, you can see the other pin right there. That's Octane. And that is Jesse's cornerstone male for his Super Doll Lily project.
Yeah.
Sweet.
So Lily White kind of interacts with the Dalmatian gene or the Super Dalmatian gene kind of a little bit differently than you would just kind of suspect. It usually reduces both from what everybody's kind of seeing and saying and talking about. So for me, I just wanted to see kind of personally how you can kind of phenotypically get both to display simultaneously. And it also does some kind of weird, funky things with base colors. So I'm kind of curious to see how that kind of turns out too.
I remember seeing when I don't know, Harry, can you pull up is Lily Exotics website still live?
The last I checked, it was, but they claim that when you do a Super Doll to a Lily, it makes an orange base.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of. Is back when they put their first article out, I remember them showing like, oh, we bred it was a patterned Lily White to a Super Doll. If you go to the Lily White project tab, and then there's probably photos.
Nope, no photos.
Oh, weird.
Go to the gallery, maybe.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. that animal right there.
Yeah.
Right there. Yeah. Click that one.
This one?
Yeah. One to the right.
The one that one right there.
Oh yeah.
So they said that was the result of Super Doll bred to Lily White, which would make sense. You would get like a yellow or orange base. That animal's going to be a het phantom if they bred a phantom animal to it. Yeah. And then it got some spots. So what would you say, Jesse, that you think that so Lily White, you think it's occupying a higher level of, like the Lily White pattern is at a higher level of the skin than the Dalmatian spots? It's masking it, or what would you think is kind of going on?
Yeah, so I think it's masking it definitely. Lily, from everything I've seen, kind of resides on that top layer of skin. So it kind of covers your pattern. It pushes your white spot is kind of like underneath coming up if you look really closely at it. So I think it's doing the same thing with Dalmatian, where it's kind of like pushing it more up towards the kind of dorsal of the geckos. But I guess for me, my big thing is, so we have Octane, the orange Dalmatian Lily White. Now, if we breed him back to like a yellow Super Dalmatian, are we going to, like, is every one of his kids going to be orange based on that kind of interaction? Or are we going to get some yellows, some oranges? Because is it more of a phenotype? Yeah. To me, it's like, is it more phenotype or genotype? And then also adding Lily White into the Dalmatians, like we can improve the head structure, we can clean up the base color. So it's very kind of interesting way to like enhance Dalmatian for me.
I think when I was talking with LM Anthony from Little Monsters, we were talking about yellow and orange, and he was saying I'm sure this is probably in his article, but he was saying that, and I've seen this too, yellow and orange, when you breed them together or you breed them out, they appear to be the same gene. Like yellow base, or obviously orange pattern and yellow pattern are different, or that's a different conversation. But as far as base color, yellow and orange seem to operate as the same gene. So, yeah, I don't know what's contributing. There's something else in play, maybe hypo or not hypo, or something that we don't fully understand yet.
Yeah.
But I think you would see a mix, is what I'm,
definitely.
I would say.
And it's
So
really interesting because Octane's parents, neither of them were orange. It was basically kind of like a yellow lily and then a yellow Dalmatian. And then he kind of came out with this orange color. So we're interested to see how his kids grow out.
Yeah.
So like those two hand pictures right there are two of his offspring. So we got kind of a yellow Dalmatian, looks like Phantom, and then the lily on the other page.
So he is Het Phantom.
Yes. He's Het Phantom.
Okay.
Yep. We've gotten a mixture of pattern Dalmatians, Phantoms, and then we actually haven't gotten any Phantom lily whites yet. All the lily whites that we've hatched out have been normals.
Yeah.
Okay. What is your goal? Do you want to make patterns or phantoms?
So I actually, so I don't really want to go to the phantoms. I kind of want like the higher expression lilies. So I want to get his expression to be higher coverage expression of lily, and then really, really try to push the Dalmatian up into that kind of dorsal to where it's like almost kind of like a, God, I can't, like, you remember those pictogram things as a kid you have where you shake? They have like little black dots all the way going across it.
Yep.
So I kind of want to like see if I can get like either like a, kind of like a very, very focused Dalmatian expression across the dorsum.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be cool. I love all the funky Dal parents. I feel like people that like Dals think of the funkiest stuff.
I'm for the funk.
He's all the Dalmatians. Any of the quads on the page are him. So he's doing the soft scale tangerine quads. Anything that's tricolory or high pattern harlequins, that's all me.
Yep. She does the Aries. I do Gargs as well.
Oh, that's cool. So tell us a little bit about your high white project. I'm interested to hear about that.
Sure.
And kind of what your goals are with it, and what the animals that consist of it are.
Yeah, so I really love extreme harlequins. Lower pin the better. So my goals with that project is really just high expression, low pinning. I like to see higher harlequin white pattern than just a lot of white spot. I think it's really interesting how like the white spot kind of fills in those gaps, but getting that higher expression of that pattern versus just a lot of expression of white spot. So I'm trying to really push up that white pattern as far as it can go. I know some people really like the contrasty stuff. If I can make an all white baseless looking gecko, that would be.
You want baseless. That's your goal.
Yeah, I basically want a baseless. I want a patternless white animal.
You want a phantom white?
Phantom white, yeah.
Moon glow.
Fired down yellow Dalmatian. There you go.
There you go.
I know, right? I'm already there. So yeah, I mean, really good structure. I'm really love like really, really wide heads, good body structure. Again, low pinning, the high harlequin pattern. And then I want to be able to cross that kind of back into the tricolor project as well. So I want to be able to kind of flip flop them. I really like, instead of the orange pattern, I like the yellow pattern. I think it's really striking and it kind of seems to not fade as much as the orange pattern. So those two projects, I kind of want to be able to cross them into each other and bump up white expression on some of my yellow animals or yellow pattern animals. But yeah, that's kind of my goal with those two.
And then you're doing high whites into exanthics now.
Yep,
too.
and then the high whites are also going to go into the exanthic project as well. So hopefully get some. It just seems like with a lot of the exanthics, I don't know if it's just a lack of trying, or I know people have tried, but it doesn't seem like they hold a lot of pattern. So I'd really love to see like almost like a hailstorm style animal but is an axanthic.
It seems like axanthic does
make it wider.
No, it seems like it does reduce pattern.
That's kind of what I've seen as well.
It also seems to reduce head structure.
Yeah.
Because I've searched far and wide. I'm like, is there really many axanthics with like killer head structure? Visual axanthics, not hets. Hets, yes, but visual axanthics, there's a lot of bad head structure in them.
Yeah.
Even out of ones that are hatched, you know, here versus in Korea. So I'm like, maybe it's, I don't know. I don't know what it is. I think in the next year or two, we'll know if it's actually the gene or if it's just been people trying to breed them as fast as possible and hatch the eggs as fast as possible.
Yeah,
I don't know.
absolutely.
I guess we'll find
out.
out.
I think there's been a lot of focus on just kind of making axanthics. So my goals with the axanthic project is going to be a while before we're really making what we want to be making. But the goal is really to try to get that white harlequin pattern up onto an axanthic in high expression.
Yeah,
it seems awesome. From my looking at them, it seems to be that the pattern that they hold is white pattern. So if you put like, say you put a tricolor animal into an axanthic, you think about like the white, the yellow or the orange, and then the base color, the color that that the axanthic is going to hold is that white pattern. It's going to hold that into the axanthic version, but the yellow or the orange, that doesn't go white.
Right.
Yeah.
As far as I've seen.
Like white spot doesn't really seem to express on axanthics either. Like it really needs to be that true white pattern, like you said.
It's probably something like what you're experiencing with the lily white Dalmatians, where it's just layers of skin. What layer is white spot sitting on? What layer is, you know, secondary pattern? Because I don't think it's all white pattern. If you breed tricolors, you would know like there's like that white pattern that sits, it looks like it's right on top. Like it's just like, and then there's white pattern where it's like, oh, it's kind of a layer back and it's a little more like cream and soft. Maybe it's just got to be like on that top level to really express.
Do you guys have a male visual, Zoe?
We have collaboration with another breeder. We have 2 female visuals and 100% het lily white.
Okay, and then Ashlee, you have the male, obviously. Do you have female hets lined up?
Yes, but like I said earlier, they're still growing out, so I'm hoping they'll be ready by 2025. But yeah, I've got 2 or 3, I think, female 100% hets.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
Axanthic gang.
Yeah. Axe gang.
I like the dark. I also like dark phantoms. I just think they're cool.
Yeah.
So Zoe, what with the white project, where are you? So obviously you got an animal from Terra. What are some of the other pieces you're trying to use to go baseless? Have you bought anything from Crystal and Kyle Gecko days?
I haven't. I've looked. I just haven't seen anything that has really caught my eye and said I needed it. One of your animals from your frost line, once he's grown out, is actually going to go into that project as well.
Cool.
And then there's just a couple. So I've got like some females growing out. I have one from CJ, who's a Cowlocks female. She will eventually go into that project as well. That's Phil Evangel. He's for my tricolor project. Yellow
I love that
project.
picture. That's so cute.
Thank you.
He's just hugging that pumpkin.
Yeah. Give him the look back.
So cute. It's like a cute puppy.
That's like me at night hugging a pillow. I'm like,
he may have been thinking about trying to maul my hand, but that's okay. It looks really cute.
Yeah.
But yeah, Harry, if you
smile.
go, he's a sweet boy. If you scroll down a little bit, that boy right there in the middle. So he will eventually go into that project as well. So I have a couple males. I don't have enough females that I really want for the project, but I've been kind of particular about what I bring in for it. So he's definitely got kind of that white spot look going on. And then I think if you scroll down just a little bit more, I should have just recently posted. There's this right up, those two on the right, the video and then the picture. So that's a Calox daughter. Really like her for her white pattern expression, and she's still kind of growing out. So I'm excited to see what she looks like when she's bigger.
Yeah.
So she's definitely going to go into that project as well. And then I think the crossline male is right in there too. Yep, right there, right in the middle. So that's actually from you, AJ. That's a Felix Eris.
Ooh.
Yeah. A lot of coverage. Looks good. That's awesome.
Yeah. I like that. I like how everyone has their own little niche projects, and then you nerd out with other people that are doing the same things, you know, and it's kind of fun. I think it's really cool.
We have 3 people here that have the same project, though. at least that high white, me, Harry, and
we need to get Ashlee in on this.
Yeah, you got to get on that.
I have some high white. I got one from Gabby at Morph Menagerie. Like,
oh, nice.
It's a high white boy, but he's not big enough for next season. So
okay. So
but
you will be doing it.
I will be. I'm just not next season. I love the high whites, and I love like the contrast and everything. Like high white is in high paper white. Like I think I don't know if we mean the same thing always when we say high white.
I think when I think of high white, I don't think about color. I think about coverage.
See, I think about color. So when I say high white, I mean like white.
Yeah.
But that's
it doesn't matter when you say high white. Do you also think about coverage of that color?
I don't.
You're just thinking about the quality of the color.
Yeah, I'm thinking of the quality of the color.
Interesting.
I think of both. When I say high white, then it's going to be high coverage, high white. It's not high. Otherwise, it's like high cream.
High cream. Yeah. We love to say that. Is this thing high
I want new breeders to understand, you know.
Yeah.
When you're saying high white, sometimes they get confused.
Yeah.
I fell into that trap.
Yeah.
Cool. Moving just to talk briefly about business, and we won't spend a lot of time on this, but are you guys worried about the current market, the future of the market? Does it affect you guys tremendously, or what is your take on the current vibe of the market?
I think for us personally, I mean, right now we're not really doing online sales. We're kind of holding back the small amount we are breeding. We actually help, and like we got kind of like our mentorship from another local breeder here at a show. So we help her vend. If we have anything that we sell, we kind of like will sell and vend with her.
That's cool.
And that's Kelsey at Quixotics.
Nice.
But like, so I don't think the market really worries us right now. I mean, come back in like 2-3 years and maybe a different question, but for right now we're pretty good.
Yeah, same here. I mean, as a new breeder, like I'm not too worried about the market because I don't have a whole lot that I'm trying to sell right now. Things that I am trying to sell right now are kind of on the lower end, like the phantoms that I have listed. Well, except for the 100% heads that I have listed, but that wasn't my choice. That was the other breeder's choice. So I'm not planning on selling any of my 100% heads. But yeah, so it doesn't really affect me in a negative way right now just because of that. And if anything, it's kind of positive because if I want to get another gecko right now, it's not astronomical. So in some ways, as a new breeder, it's kind of nice that the market's going down. But at the same time, in the back of my head, there's a little bit of concern. I'm like, well, is this going to be the new like baseline, or is it going to go back up, or like what is it going to look like? Because I haven't been in it long enough to even have any experience in it.
Yeah. I don't think we won't see the Korea bubble pricing again.
Yeah.
I don't think we'll see that.
Yeah.
But I was telling Harry, I don't know, a day or two ago, I'm like, we all did fine before that happened. And then that was just, just think about the people that did capitalize on that. That was just kind of like a bonus 2 years. And then it's kind of just like back to normal. I mean, lily whites even when they came out, they were too cheap. They launched them too cheap.
What was the pricing on those when they first came out?
I paid $700 a male, and they were like 25 grams.
Wow.
And I was in the first wave of people that bought males. So I think Northern Gecko, because they were a distributor of Repashy, and Lily Exotics was the distributor of Repashy in the UK. Northern Geckos got the first opportunity to buy male lily whites. And then it was like, think about like month 1, they got those. They got like 15 males or 20 males or something. And then month 2, Lily Exotic sold females, and they sold maybe like 20 or 30 female lily whites. And then month 3, they sold males to the US. And it was so funny because I think when they launched the females, they were like 1,000 a piece for the same size. And then fast forward 30 days, they sold males for $300 less. And they only sold maybe like 15 or 20. And I got 2 because I had a buddy of mine buy a second one for me, because they would only sell 1 per person. And I had somebody buy me a second one. So I got 2. But I don't even think the funny thing is, one of them didn't breed for like 3 years. The first gen lilies were very small. Like it was hard to get them over like 35 grams. They were very small.
I've heard they still kind of grow slow.
I don't know. I haven't seen that, but it probably depends on how far out you are from original stock. Like,
oh, it's interesting you say that. I have our lily male. His sire was from Lily Exotics, and he's sitting around 25 grams at 2 years old.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm a slow grower.
Slow grower for sure.
Nope, doesn't take bugs.
Yeah, I mean, it might be.
I mean, like it's like everybody else.
I mean, that's what Caponetto said to us about lilies at his place. He's like, yeah, I don't know about these things that grow really slow. And I do think that getting a few generations out is probably remedied that. Because I don't notice it anymore. It seems like they're pretty in line with everything else. So
yeah, I mean, ours are growing at a reasonable pace. The ones that we hatched
the
out.
other ones,
yeah. Interesting.
Cool to see them developing from back then to now. You know, you have some pretty big ones too. So
yeah.
A quick question for you guys: are you guys ever plan on doing these things full time? Are you gonna stay hobby level and just kind of enjoy and dabble? Where are you guys at with that?
I think, I mean, for us, we're hobby. I mean, we've been with, Quixotics and a few other breeders as well. If it ever evolved into that, I think we're open to it. And I think we know that like the transition would mean more shows and more traveling. But we're kind of like, if it does, it does. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Like, we're not really in a rush either way.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
And I would always probably keep my day job. He would be probably going full time if it ever got to that point.
But yeah, we did have that discussion though, so we're like kind of prepared either way. What happens?
Very cool. How about you, Ash?
Pretty much the same for me. I mean, it's a hobby for me right now. I treat it as a business though, like keeping track of everything and all that, but it's a hobby for me. It's something that I enjoy doing, and I don't want to get too big in numbers to where I'm like overwhelmed. So there's that. I kind of feel like to run it as a business, you kind of have to have a lot of numbers. Either that or have everything super high end. But then if you have everything that's super high end, you might not sell as often. So it's kind of a catch-22. So yeah, I don't know that I'm ready to have those numbers yet. Now maybe in the future, I don't know, but as of right now, I'm keeping it as a hobby, but I want it to be quality and I want it to run as a business and be professional.
Sweet. Yeah, that's awesome.
That's awesome.
That's good.
So I'll ask you about this. We always ask this, but what would you say from a new breeder perspective, what your advice would be to maybe a previous version of yourself, or somebody that's watching this right now that maybe has 1 or 2 geckos and they're dreaming about breeding one day, selling animals, what would you give advice to those folks?
Top advice.
Yeah, I would say, at least for us, vending shows. So getting involved in your local community, finding a local mentor was really,
That's
really big for us. So even just having the ability to go and vend, learn how to set up a table that looks presentable, how to talk to, people that might be pet owners that are looking for a new pet. All of that I think was really, really important for us. Also, you're just not going to be able to sell everything online. I think I really enjoy educating new people. Then they're like, oh, I've never seen a crested gecko before. Wow, they're soft. They're not spiky, kind of a thing. Like that's something that I really enjoyed. So for me, I would definitely say find your local mentor. If you can get involved in vending shows, it's really, really helpful. Your local mentor is going to be able to tell you what the appropriate seasons are for your location. I mean, care and husbandry changes depending on where you are, even within the United States. So that would probably be my biggest recommendation, is try to get involved in your local community.
That's awesome. I don't think we've heard that before. That's good.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Good. I love it. Good.
No, that's great advice. Absolutely. For me, I would say learn as much as you can. I went the YouTube route and learned from a lot of breeders that way. So after buying my first one, like I knew nothing about them. I'm like, okay, I got to learn as much as I can about the morphs, about the care, about the breeding, everything. And I learned all of that from YouTube. I watched Flawless Crested Geckos. I watched Robbie's Reptiles, Tiki's, So Stick Reptiles. I feel like I'm missing like that. But other than that, obviously the Gecko Pod, a total wealth of information. Because like you guys have interviewed so many big breeders, and I've gotten so many tips and tricks from all the different ones, because not everybody does it the same. So I learned from that, like what works for me and what doesn't work for me. So I definitely recommend like YouTube as a wealth of information, especially from like top known breeders. And so I recommend that. I haven't vended any shows yet, so I can't really speak from that perspective. But yeah.
You should just go and help somebody else vend. Even if you don't sell your own animals.
Yeah,
you should just go and just
that.
be like, just help sell someone else's animals. And I don't know.
Yeah.
Most people, like if people ever, like if people ever want to do that for me, I would always like give them animals for their time or whatever. Like, oh, you want to come hang out and, help chat with people and make sure nobody steals anything. Okay.
I'll put them on AJ. I might hit you up for that. Since we're both on the East Coast.
Very cool. Don't do Flora Fauna. She might not be there.
Come out to Anaheim.
Yeah, we'll find one.
Yeah,
that's really good advice. So I'll ask you guys, thank you already, but where can we find you guys? How would you like people to interact with you, talk with you, support you? IGs.
Am I going first since my...
Yeah, sure.
I think Harry just teed you up. I guess you're going first.
I guess I'm going first. You can go to cryptocresties.com. That's my landing page. Oh, there, you're already there. Look at that. So yeah, my website link is still up there. I am working on revamping my website. So these are not all my available geckos. They're all going to be on Morph Market right now. Why'd you push no, Harry?
Oh no.
Harry, we both know you're 40. We know you're old.
I'm 17.
Yeah, so this I'm revamping because I'm not going to get into all of that, but this is the About Us. That's Andrew.
What's up,
Andrew? My fiance. So
he's kind of Andrew.
More. Yeah, he's more behind the scenes.
Okay.
Yeah, you both met him. He's more behind the scenes. He doesn't really like to be on the videos and stuff. So sorry, Andrew, you're on it. But yeah, he helps me when he can. We're actually getting married next November.
Yeah.
So after that, he'll be helping me a lot more. With
then he'll
geckos.
have to be in the videos.
Yes, a little bit. A little bit.
That's so fun.
But yeah, Instagram, I respond
what
to
happened?
my Instagram messages. But the cryptocresties.com landing page, it'll take you to everything I have available, the Instagram, the website. And I am working on my own YouTube channel. So
Sweet,
hopefully by the time this video comes out, I will already have one video up on my YouTube.
Oh,
nice.
sweet.
So-
What kind of YouTube are you gonna do? Like what's your content gonna be about?
Educational stuff?
Yeah, just educational stuff, just about like my geckos, maybe talk about the morphs a little more in depth, show the different morphs and care. And I also want to do videos on how to like have them on a budget, but still have nice enclosures. So like these,
that's smart.
you know,
Yeah.
compared to all bins. Like these look presentable, but they didn't break the bank. I think they were $15 a piece, if that. They may have been less. So I want to do videos showing like how you can have a bioactive on a budget and stuff like that. So yeah.
When should
That's
we?
cool.
So you're gonna put that in your links in your from your
Yes,
IG?
it will be on my landing page once I get it going. So hopefully it'll be up before this video goes.
Yeah, and then looks like you have a morph market as well.
I do. Yes. If you go there, that's where all of my the phantoms that I mentioned have been listed, and there are a lot of females. So if anyone's looking for a female red phantom, I got a lot of them.
Sale. Sweet.
That's awesome.
Big sale going on.
Thank you.
That's cool.
Cool.
Zoe and Jesse, tell us a little bit about kind of where people can support you guys and follow what you're doing. And
Yeah, so Instagram is our main page, Mesmerizing Morphs. So that's our main page. You're probably going to get the fastest response time on there. We do also have a Facebook. So there's a business page as well as a personal page named Mesmerizing Morphs. You can message either of those and we'll get back to you on there as well. We don't currently have a website set up. We will in the future. We do have a morph market, but there's nothing on there. So don't go looking for anything available on there.
Not yet.
Not yet.
to be announced. To be announced.
Yeah, exactly. we're holding most of what we produce back. We want to see how everything progresses from our breeders and everything. So, but yeah, our Facebook or Instagram are both great places to reach us at.
Perfect. Yeah, thank you guys both for hanging out with us and chatting. And I think this was a good episode. There was a lot of interesting things that we talked about. I'm thinking back on it. I'm like, man, we talked about a lot of stuff.
Your breeders are the best chats because then I love the learning process. Like, so every video, it either has to be like really engaging and a little bit entertaining, funny wise or whatever, or else like something where you learn a lot. And I feel like we always learn from new breeders as they're kind of figuring things out, and I love that. So today was a good episode. So thank you guys.
Thank you guys for having us again.
Yeah,
yes, thanks so much.
Yeah, so we'll put this episode out shortly this week. And then we're doing a double episode because I'm heading over to North Carolina in a couple of days to see AJ, and we'll have a live then. So we'll have a double episode. So we'll play up your episode. We'll do the live. So it'll be fun. It'll be a good week.
Cool.
So,
it'll be what day is today? Today's Sunday. So it'll be like Monday or Tuesday. This will air, and then we'll have a live Thursday.
I'm going to try to post this up tomorrow when Monday. So it has a few extra days, and we'll keep playing it up for you guys. So it'll be fun. So cool. Yeah. So thank you guys. We appreciate you all. We love you all, and we'll
see you
catch
soon.
you guys soon.
Thank you.
Guys.
Bye.
Yeah, bye.